Well, hi everybody. How you doing? Good, good. Well, I'm doing good too. Good to be here tonight. Good to see you. Hey, just want to talk a little bit about the three main influences in my life. That would be Mom, Dad, and the Vietnam War, pretty much in that order. Roughly the same destructive power as far as it pertains to my life. What was strange was Mom and Dad had completely different views about how I should be raised. Completely different. Mom wanted me to grow up to be a preacher, kind of a easygoing, quiet, tidy kind of guy. So she'd say things like, Jimmy, just go on into the room there, honey, and just clean it up. Just tidy up the sock drawer and dust under your bed there. And come on out, we'll have a cheese sandwich, watch a little TV. You know, that was Mom's view of who I was and what I should be. And Dad was from the other end of the spectrum. He'd come home and say something like, Jimmy, grab something sharp. We'll go kill something before dinner. What do you say? And I said, well, Dad, you know, we live in town. He said, well, what the hell? The zoo doesn't close till 6. We'll find something down there. And so we had a different opinion of it. And consequently, I grew up with pretty much of a split personality, you know, split right down the middle. Kind of evolved into sort of a Genghis Khan with manners, you know what I mean? You know, real different. So by the time I was 19, I was ready to leave home. I was sort of over the whole thing. And I started thinking, well, maybe I'll join the U.S. Army. But so I gave it some serious thought. I thought, well, let me see, do I want to leave my family and go to war? Family, war, family, yeah, war. That was my choice. And so the first place I ended up was at Fort Dix, New Jersey. Fort Dix, New Jersey. Anybody ever been to Fort Dix, New Jersey? Huh? Yeah, it's quite a place, you know. So if you're ever up in that part of the country, just be sure to take the family with you and take some photographs, maybe build a vacation around your stay there. There's so much to see. Real fungus capital of the world, Fort Dix, New Jersey. And I remember we got there in January, and it was dark. It was 4 in the morning. It was snowing. And I remember they shaved our heads completely bald, stripped us down to our waist, had us put on those big, heavy, clunky black combat boots. And the next thing I know, we're running up and down in formation, up and down these endless company streets. Just running up and down. And we're doing this airborne shuffle. And as we're running, doing this airborne shuffle, we're singing this terribly manly army song. We're singing, I want to be an airborne ranger. I want to go to Vietnam. I want to live a life of danger. I want to kill the Viet Cong. Honk, 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 honk. And as we're going down these company streets, really pumping up, all I can hear is my mother's voice in the back of my head. And I'm thinking, hey, guys, shouldn't we be up on the sidewalk away from the oncoming traffic? Am I the only one worried about this, or what? So, that's pretty much how it was going there. My favorite time at Fort Dix was when we went out to the firing range. Just a wonderful experience out there. They let 400 teenagers with automatic weapons just shoot the hell out of an entire countryside. It was really amazing. We had these targets that were 350 meters away. We were supposed to hit those. Sort of like going out here to the parking lot, trying to knock a grapefruit off a tree back there in a popka somewhere. Give you an idea. We knew we weren't going to hit them, and we never did find out what we hit, but we didn't care. We just, you know, maybe lay down 100,000 rounds of ammunition in a few hours, and we were happy. We'd just be out there going, You hit anything, Jimmy? No, but it feels better, you know. You wouldn't have a cigarette on you, would you? I feel so relieved. I don't know. Then the fun part was when we came off the line. We came off the line. Before you could get off the firing line, you had to go before Staff Sergeant Gore, our drill instructor, kind of a nasty guy, and you had to prove to him you didn't have any live ammunition on you or in your weapon. So you would come to attention in front of Sergeant Gore, and you would say, no brass, no ammo, Sergeant, and you would snap back the bolt on your M14. So I was third one in line. First guy came up and said, no brass, no ammo, Sergeant. Stepped aside. Second guy came up, no brass, no ammo, Sergeant. Stepped aside. I came up, I said, no brass, no ammo, Sergeant. And out of the corner of my eye, I could see what was most definitely a live 7.62 NATO round tumbling in a graceful arc toward Sergeant Gore. Just flying up there in the most graceful way, just kind of a ballet of violent weaponry. Just would I got to the peak of the arc, I remember saying to myself, gosh, this can't be good. And I just watched it fall, as did Sergeant Gore, and it landed at his feet. And he stopped doing the two favorite things he liked to do best. He stopped humming the Ballad of the Green Beret, and he stopped chewing on human flesh for a few minutes, and he said something to me along the lines of, boy, I really wouldn't want to be in your boots, young man, and something like that. So on my way to Vietnam, I remember thinking, boy, they sure can cut travel orders in a hurry in this modern army. I was pretty impressed. And I was also thinking on the way over to Vietnam, here I am, I'm 19 years old, I'm still confused, am I John Wayne, am I Felix Unger, who the hell am I? Got there just in time for the Tet Offensive. Don't know if you've ever heard of it. It was in all the papers, especially in that Saigon Tribune, it was in there. And got there. Now, I linked up with my unit, the Fighting 518th. Don't think they were that excited to see me at first. I think I confused them more than anything. I think it was my fault. I don't think they'd ever seen a GI come ashore before carrying a grenade launcher in one hand and a vac and clean in the other. I think that probably threw them off. But that fit in with my philosophy. I sort of felt this way, hey, we're going to go out, we're going to search and destroy. Is that any reason we can't come back and kind of tidy up a little bit? I don't think so. Okay, we're going to napalm, but let's pledge. We'll napalm and pledge. We'll napalm, we'll pledge, And we're going to bomb this country all the way back to the friggin' Neanderthal age. Why don't we just get a bulldozer, we'll scoop it all to one side, nice, neat piles, then we'll dust, we'll clean, we'll pledge, and when we leave, at least they'll be able to say, hey, the Americans cared enough to leave the place dust-free, something along those lines. I don't know. I do know before I went over to Vietnam, when I was at community college for 6 months, we used to have these discussions about God. Does he exist or doesn't he? And at the time, Time magazine has a cover story, God is dead. So we sort of kicked in with that. We said, we took a vote 8 to 10, yeah, God is dead. And our philosophy was, well, God is really just a PR gimmick put out by the establishment to keep us in line. Just a PR gimmick, that's all God was. And then I got to Vietnam in time for the Tet Offensive, and I remember very distinctly being kind of snuggled down in the bottom of what seemed to be a very shallow foxhole while these flares were going off in the middle of the night and the sky was lighting up with artillery. And I was praying very earnestly to the public relations firm of God, the Father, and the Holy Ghost. And I guess your philosophy can change if you have a little bit of incoming headed your way. This is one thing I've discovered and hung on to through life. But I tell you, I was over there for a year, and you see some strange things. The longer you're there, the more you see, the more bizarre things you see, and the more routine everything seems to you. You'd be standing there talking to your buddy, a poisonous snake would just slither over your boot, and you'd say, hey, there goes a green one. I like the red ones, but the green ones are pretty too, you get used to it. Or you'd be lying in bed sleeping, middle of the night, something tickled your face, you'd reach up, hit something fuzzy, and it would, something hairy, and it would be, like a tarantula, and it would go, come on, Fuzzy, stay off me. You got a nickname for these guys after a while. You go to the village, some little 5-year-old would hand you a can of Coca-Cola, GI for you. And you look at it, and there'll be a layer of ground glass in there. And you'd say, well, thanks, little guy. I've given up internal hemorrhaging for the holidays. Oh, I appreciate it very much. So you got used to these horrible things. And except for one thing, I could not get used to this one thing the whole year I was there. And I'm not ashamed to say it, not ashamed to talk about it. Especially when we're up there along the DMZ in those smelly bunkers. You'd be up there for 2 or 3 months at a time. And we'd be in there, and man, I was horrible. They just keep coming at us and coming at us and coming at us. I mean, those damn dust bunnies, the big ones, just rolling across the bunker floor there, under the cot, over the shoes. Still get flashbacks, man, I don't know. But I'll tell you, I still have a warm place in my heart for the U.S. Army. And I think that's because I feel they taught me to be all that I could be. Taught me to be all. For example, they taught me one specific skill. They taught me how to kill a man in 6 seconds using nothing but my bare hands. A skill that translates very nicely, I think, into civilian employment. I don't know. A real icebreaker at that initial job interview. Well, Mr. Rorabaugh, is there any skill that you bring to this job? Well, I could remove your heart, and while it's still beating, show it to you before you die. I don't know, is that anything you can use? Well, Mr. Rorabaugh, I'll tell you, I don't think we can use you on our team, but have you considered at all going down the street here and applying to the U.S. Postal Service? Does that appeal to you at all? Well, thank you very much, folks. That's my time. Have a good night.